Welcome back to another episode of Keep Your Torch Lit. I'm Jack, and Sarah, I'm really happy there's no girls that you can flip to, no girls alliance you can make. You have to stick here with me and Sam,
I know, it's pretty upsetting. Like, I really tried to, but there's just no other options.
No, what about you could flip to like Mallory and Lucy, right? And get rid of us.
Yeah,
you would never do that.
I would definitely flip to them.
I feel like I couldn't see you voting me and Jack out. I don't know.
Honestly, I think that'd be a better podcast. Mallory, Lucy, and Sarah.
Yeah. That's true. Mallory only listens to the podcast, though. She doesn't. That's her MO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's listening, so she's learning, so she can start her own podcast with Sarah and get her to flip on us.
Oh, I see.
So Sam, I think that means we need to flip on Sarah before she can flip on us and with the girls.
Oh yeah, true. We need to pick up some numbers. We need to find Mike, find Nick.
What's up, guys?
What's up? I heard, Jack, you ran a half marathon, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Half of an entire marathon.
Wow.
Yeah. Just this weekend in Portland, Oregon, the Shamrock Run finished in 1:45, which is my PR. So feeling speedy.
That's you're on 3:30 pace for that. That's crazy, man. Nice.
So you went full tilt.
Yeah, it was full tilt for sure.
Full tilt for half marathon. So you're
half tilt.
Half tilt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like a faster speed because like a full marathon full tilt is like a slightly slower speed. So it's like I feel like it's like almost like 1.25 tilt,
1.25 tilt. No, a 145. Yeah, 145 half is anything but half tilt. That's a lot. It's pretty intense. So nice, man. Nice.
That's amazing.
I wonder what Mallory's PR is.
Definitely better than yours.
Mm-hmm.
Mallory. Well, you're going pretty fast for your half. Just like Cooper's sprinting through this game, doing all the things in episodes 10 and 11.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've all been together, so we're gonna do both 10 and 11 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Catch back, see if we can catch up with Cooper as he's running away. I don't know, he's going so fast.
He's 5 steps ahead,
just
like Ben, 10 steps ahead even.
No, Ben's further, but Cooper's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's getting there. So, yeah, well, what did you guys think of those last 2 episodes?
I mean, definitely starting to heat up. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I was waiting for an idol play this past episode. I wanted it to happen, and I thought it was gonna happen, but then it didn't. And then I'm like, what's the whole point of this whole Pringle idol thing if we never find out? And Emily's gone now, so it's like now we just have to know if Andrews is real or not. But they like built it up so much, and she never even got to do anything with it.
I mean, the Pringle idol it'll be revealed at some point who has it, just wasn't in episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that storyline isn't going nowhere. It's still going to go somewhere.
Yeah. She must have felt really safe.
Yeah. I mean, she had no idea she was getting any votes at that tribal.
Yeah. That's like one of the bigger, just like absolute blindsides, I feel like, in a while. Just like having no idea you'd be getting votes at all. Like, I feel like a lot of like even recent somewhat blindsides are like, they know they're getting a vote or two, or like they have at least a little bit of suspicion. She was like
true
100% safe and just, just ready to make the move next time. She's not going to let us know what that move it would be, but like.
What's the last time that like somebody has been like blindsided and they like didn't even know they were getting one vote at all? Like they were shocked to even have one vote and then they got voted off.
I feel like that happens a lot. Are you talking about in like Survivor Michigan?
Yeah, in like Survivor Michigan. Like when's the last time that happened? Maybe like I guess Lucy. Maybe.
Yeah.
Did Akshay think he was getting votes?
I mean, Lucy only got one vote, really. Or I guess not really, but
she got 2.
She got 2.
Yeah.
Nick?
Akshay knew he was getting votes at least, but I feel like he didn't think he was getting voted off, but like I feel like he knew that Lucy was voting for him and like that he was still nervous, I think.
Yeah. Didn't Nick not know, or he would have played his idol?
Yeah, I guess so.
But
Nick, he also was still like he was on edge though. He was still like thinking about it.
Like he was very much considering playing the idol, and like according to him, he was going to if Sam wasn't doing his weird thing or whatever. So
Yeah.
like it was at least not out of the realm of possibility of Nick's head. Like I feel like Emily had it was just like completely different universe.
What
Oh,
about Brie on our season?
she was very
I
blindsided.
feel like
Yeah.
she was pretty blindsided.
Oh, Jessie in this season is a good example too. Like she had
Oh yeah.
no. I feel like that one's probably most comparable. Where like she had like
Mhm.
no idea, and like suddenly she's just voted off.
Mm-hmm.
But like Emily's like her like what? Like I feel like that was like such a iconic moment. Such a big I've like it's just a big moment in general in the season. Like as much as it's like maybe there wasn't an idol play, there wasn't like as much theatrics as like maybe you'd think. Like I feel like it especially with Ian kind of like ending the act 2 at this point and like act 3 being kind of the rest of the season, like I feel like it's very much distinguished as like a big turning point in the game.
Oh, is that why there's a 2-week gap? It's like the end of Act 2. I didn't realize it was the end of Act 2.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Act 2 is just like episodes 8, 9, 10, and 11.
I thought there was a gap because we were going to Vegas and we wanted the finale to be during Vegas.
I mean, I think that the Vegas date was decided when Ian had already kind of known when he was going to be doing these like gaps.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like for these for this Act 2, there was a lot of it did kind of feel at times, I guess, like the pacing was a bit slow. Like there's this majority that's picking people off. It really was just like those 2 episodes where that happened, because I feel like the first episode, the merge, was like kind of like big power shift, big blindside. This episode was like a big power shift, big blindside. There was those 2 in the middle though, 9 and 10, where like I guess Kevin and Sarah got voted off.
Yeah, I think the problem with the pacing is that Bailey did enough moves for like 3 episodes in 1 episode, like in the merge episode, like she kind of just like condensed the next 3 weeks into that week by like making an alliance, then flipping on the alliance, and then
Very true. Very true. Bailey was very busy in episode 8. I feel like it's the thing is like after that, like Bailey is not really incentivized to flip again after she had just made like a kind of a big move, put a target on her back. Like, do you guys think that anyone was really incentivized to flip the week that Sarah went home?
What was the vote? How did the vote shake out again?
Basically, just like I want to say it was the votes were split on Sarah and Andrew. And then Sarah just like went home.
I don't think anyone really had any final deals with Sarah, right?
No.
Like who had like a final 3 deal with her?
I don't know. Nick, maybe.
Heck yeah.
I just feel like Andrew's connection with Cooper really saved him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Sarah should not have trusted Cooper again.
And like I don't think there's just like no other good reason for anybody in the 7 to flip, Like they didn't really have anything to gain. Like I guess like you can maybe make the argument now that like Emily Beast should have done something, just because she's the one that's out here first. So like I feel like you always gotta look to like the person who's the victim of the first flip maybe should have flipped first, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But before then, exactly. I liked what Emily was saying though, where she was like, if I had tried to make a move at like pre-merge, then she probably would have like gotten voted off because of it. Like she was just like she made the argument of like she was like laying low strategically, but she waited just a little too long there.
What if a girls' alliance started plus Megan and Sarah? The whole thing is like it's the girls' alliance minus Megan right now. But
that's true.
Yeah,
that could have been interesting.
Megan was doing a lot these past episodes, I feel like.
Yeah.
She's kind of like at the point where there's not much she can do, but she's pulling out all the stops. Like she was fake crying to Adam. She was all like, "See you on the jury," to you,
Yeah.
Sam.
No, she incepted into Cooper's mind that he should flip because of the Girls Alliance that she didn't know about. So really, Megan's the mastermind behind the Emily blindside.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you have to feel for Megan because I feel like there's not really a whole lot that she can be doing differently than what she is doing. Like, just going and pleading like
I
Yeah.
feel like in that position, you have to just cause chaos in the majority alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean,
cause
she kind of
confusion
tried to
and
do that
doubt.
by like throwing me under the bus.
Yeah, she had the right idea. If you didn't just, if Bailey didn't just believe you when you were like,
Yeah.
nah, those are fake texts.
I mean, in hindsight, like it could have worked if she went the other way with it and was like, oh, well, you don't like Bailey, let's like make a move on Bailey, or like let's try and like find a way to throw Bailey under the bus. But I don't know. It wasn't like I was offering to like make a move on Bailey that week. I was kind of like saying like, oh, I don't know, like Bailey is powerful, so like what else was she supposed to do in that situation? One thing I do think of is like Megan is honestly, I don't know if this is really touched on in the episodes, or really shown much, but like I think that one of Megan's strategies was to like try to appear as non-threatening as possible compared to like the other people on the bottom. And that's why in a lot of her conversations, like she would basically say like, oh, like you shouldn't vote me off. Like I'm a goat. Like no one's going to vote for me at the end. And she would say that, like she said that specifically to me and Adam, like many, many times. But that's where it's confusing in the episode where she's like, yeah, like it's so like annoying that everyone views me as a goat. Like that's, whatever, patronizing. Why are they calling me a goat? It's like, I thought that was your strategy. Like you said that to everybody. You said that like 10 times during my meeting. Like, oh yeah, I'm a goat. Don't vote me off. Then like in confessional, she's like, why is everyone calling me a goat? It's like, that's because you are calling yourself a goat.
Yeah, that's the thing with perception in this game. I mean, I feel like that's what one of our biggest things we always come back to is like, but like, if you're going out and telling people that you're a goat, people are going to think you're a goat. You know?
It's like Matthew Israel in season 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to her credit, I mean, people aren't voting. She isn't even really an option to be voted off through these like past tribal councils. So like whether it's that perception or whether it's like, I mean, she's made some relationships too, like relationship with Cooper and Andrew seems to definitely be something that's highlighted. Like those relationships really help you when you're on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible strategy, honestly. Like being intentionally goating yourself.
Yeah.
Because you could easily get into a scenario where it's a very bitter jury. Like you've already seen Bailey said, I think that like she's going to be a bitter fucking juror or whatever. So like, especially, I don't know if it's clear yet if it's a 2 or a 3 for final. Has that been announced? But like,
been kind of like teased with like, but who knows if Ian's trying to throw us off,
But just like in a hypothetical situation, I guess even in a final 3, but like especially in a final 2, if there's one person that the jury just absolutely hates, like, it, especially in this season, where I feel like people are making these very polarizing moves, or somebody might be in the friendship or not in the friendship, or in the 7 or not in the 7, blah blah blah. Like there's a lot of scenarios you can imagine Megan getting a lot of bitter votes at the end. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Do you think she'd get a vote from Bailey, who said when Megan eliminated her from the challenge, and she was like, "Is it because I'm dating a member of production?"
A great Bailey line, like Bailey challenge.
Vintage Bailey.
That's what I was just thinking. Her challenge snipes.
I mean, when Megan says to me, "See you on the jury," is she saying like, "Well, I'll see you in the jury when like I'm in the finals and like you're in the jury"? Like,
no, she's saying that y'all. I thought she was saying y'all both gonna be on jury.
But maybe not though. Maybe
not. Maybe so. Maybe not.
It can work both ways. It can work anyway.
True.
I'll see. Like you are on the jury. I'll see you when you're on the jury.
I'll see you on the jury. Yeah.
Or I'll see you because I'm on the jury and you're not. So I'm on the you
I'll see you on the jury. Yeah. See, it works.
Like, I'm on the jury and I'll see you.
But what if like the two of us made the finals? Then that's impossible. Then that's the only case, I guess.
Yeah,
or it doesn't really work.
So
Well, what do you make of this this Akshay prophecy in the premiere episode that 8th place is on this every single? I think he actually says that like whatever of it was all the 8th place people were on Pawnee. It was myself, Akshay, and Megan, and he says like 8th place is on this tribe, guaranteed. 8th place is on Pawnee this season. You think that his prophecy will come true? One of the Pawnee
Wait,
people.
are we at what place are we at right now? 9?
yeah.
Yeah.
The next week is 8th.
Next
right?
vote is 8?
We're at 8 right now. 8 people are left.
Oh, interesting.
Wait,
So
who's left from Pawnee? Is it just you, Megan, Adam?
Yeah, it's the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 3 Pawnee, 3 Odawa, 2 Sangria.
Dang.
Well, the probability is like
We have 8.
not that low.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost 50-50. Yeah.
Yeah.
If only Lucy was still there.
Yeah.
If only Eliza was there.
Facts. Yeah. Come on. Where's Eliza
The
at?
real final 8. Yeah.
Yeah, the best of the 8th place finishers isn't even represented in the season.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Yeah. Another thing on the Megan is I think one of you mentioned this, like her fake crying to Adam. I thought that was a funny scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's really pulling out all the stops. Do you think Jackson's giving her advice at all? Because Jackson's not on the jury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, are they allowed to talk about the game? I forgot what the rules are.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, can you give her advice?
What could Jackson possibly know that like Megan doesn't already know anyways, you know? Like it's
not
not like
that he knows, just more so like kind of talking through things with her.
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
And Nova's talking about everything in the game to Bailey, so why can't I talk to Megan or whatever the hell I want to?
Yeah. Let me just take my advice and just give it to you on the game.
Give it to you. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure they did talk about it, and I feel like nobody would have had an issue with that anyways. Like whatever. So much time had passed from pre-jury at that point. Like,
oh, I want to talk about that challenge editing because I think people were confused about the montage that was going on.
I thought that was really cool.
It's kind of like anime.
Because I feel like if there was no montage, even though it was kind of random, then it would just be like people kicking balls into buckets.
Yeah.
It would be kind of like boring.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like a cool little scene.
I feel like challenge budget for All Stars is not really high. It seems like.
Yeah, it's low budge.
Yeah.
Low budge. Yeah. I'm sure Jackson would be complaining if he was still in the game about the low budget challenges.
Literally just had a bucket.
Yeah. Just a bucket and a ball.
That's kind of like we had one that was similar to that, right?
Yeah.
We had
the one where you were like tossing.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that
oh yeah, the one that you got out at, yeah.
Yeah, I almost won it. I was like ahead, and then I was like gassed, and Mallory came up from behind and won.
That's why her marathon score is definitely
exactly. Because I've been training ever since then and have that image in my mind. So I can come back in All Stars 3 and redeem myself against Mallory.
Yeah.
All Stars 3 sounds wild, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I think we need like somebody like from Survivor Michigan to become like a billionaire to just like give all of us like $10,000 to like quit like our jobs for a month or something, and actually like fly us out to an island and do this.
Oh, that'd be
Can
so
you imagine?
sick.
Like if Dale like
awesome.
has a startup that goes crazy.
Yeah.
Hires a camera crew and everything, like that'd be amazing.
That would be
basically,
or if you guys
just do CBS Survivor, but like our own version.
Yeah.
I guess we already do that.
We just
but,
get
like much higher budget. Yeah.
Yeah, with like all of the. I think you just need the budget so I can like justify not working for like 2 months.
That'd be crazy.
You guys need to just make some big bets.
Cast all of us is what they got to do. They got to just do like College Survivor season, and then just like cast all the.
That would be actually really good. I think you took the top college survivors and threw them on an island.
I would watch that for sure.
But But yeah, I mean, back to what we were talking about. Yeah, I thought the montage was a really cool choice, and just like to really, especially as ending like Act 2, like to kind of like
Yeah.
show how all these relationships have been built up. Just seeing like all the little moments of everybody. Like I don't know.
I agree. It felt like a journey through the season. Like you're kind of like
Mhm.
reliving it almost.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how Emily's advantages that she gets? I feel like she keeps getting bamboozled with these
It was
advantages.
just the worst advantages.
Yeah.
That's so
Like
sad.
what? Oh, which reminds me, doesn't she get some? What is the advantage that's now in play that she's gone?
Oh, she gets to place a vote on somebody.
The right of
Yeah, so
revenge.
she's still gonna be able to do something.
Yeah. The
right
beast
to revenge.
lingers.
Yeah, who knows who she's gonna vote for? It's so wild.
So crazy.
No idea.
We didn't just
Wow.
accidentally spoil it
Wow.
and then have to cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not just a jump cut.
Well, I would never spoil anything on KYTL.
No.
I never. I would not, especially not whoever has the idol.
Whoa. Spoilers.
I still
Spoilers.
don't know that actually.
Yeah, you mean nobody? If you still don't know, it looks like Ian
Well,
was
'cause
going to reveal it in that post-credit scene.
There's
And then
both look fake as fuck.
they both look fake. Sure, are we sure that Kevin didn't have it all along and plant two fakes?
I feel like it's fun to have fake looking real idols,
That's
'Cause
true.
then, yeah, I like having paranoia and doubt,
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think
There's just a
both
low
of them have
edge.
like wondered if theirs is fake, right? Or I feel like was she pretty confident that hers was real? And I feel like Crouch has waffled.
Yeah,
I can't
Crouch
remember.
is definitely waffle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if
I don't remember if
Beast
she
has.
has.
Yeah.
It's something to ask her in the interview. I
Mhm.
feel like someone asked that in the Discord too. Like, oh, like has Emily like questioned whether her idol is real or not?
Right.
I mean, it's not a Lorax, so it must be real.
Exactly.
Or it's not a Lorax, so it must be fake. I don't know.
It's true.
How do you think she feels that maybe her like one of her biggest Survivor Michigan legacies is the Lorax? Well, I want to ask her that too.
That's a good one.
That really is like the first thing I think of when I think of Emily B. It's the Lorax.
It's funny because it wasn't even necessarily played like a tribal council or anything. It was just like mentioned like in a few confessionals, but it just became like what everyone talked about as the thing. It's so funny. So Emily, I mean, it kind of makes sense, like whether or not her idol is real, which we'll figure out at some point. Like in her mind, it's real. So she's playing the game as if she has an idol. Like, do you think that that's like good or bad for her game to like have the confidence that you have an idol, even though like you might not?
I mean, it can definitely give you a sense of security that might be false.
Just like he's heard, not inexperience.
Yeah. It's like it is like I feel we've talked about this on like Keep Your Torchlets before in the past, like seasons ago. Like just how having an idol can almost like sometimes just be a bad thing because like it both makes you either like play too safe or like kind of like think too like crazy or like think, oh, I only have to get to this number, so I don't want to do anything crazy until then. Especially with two idols. I mean, obviously it worked out for Dale and it didn't work out for me, so I'm just bitter. But like just thinking like, oh, I just have to make it to 6 or 5 or whatever, and then I can play them.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely adds stress.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had one, but like I could imagine that it would just be stressful because it's like, do I play it? Do I play for someone else? Who do I tell? There's like so much that goes into it that like you have to think about.
Yeah, like Sam, how did you feel for the 2 minutes you thought you had an idol this season?
Man, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. It's so long ago, man. I don't know. I was excited, but it was like so early that I didn't have time to like be paranoid about it. I was just excited that I had something.
Like, okay, like weird hot take. Like, is it almost better to have your closest ally have an idol than you have the idol?
I think
yes. Yeah. If your closest ally would play it for you no matter what, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you never know if they will, but
yeah,
it is nice to like know where the idol is and have the option of like using it to make a move or save yourself, but not have the target of the idol on yourself. Like, that's basically how I felt like in this season when Adam told me he had the idol. Like in season 2, I basically was like, oh, I immediately was like, this is like threatening, like this is bad. But I feel like this time around I was like, oh, like actually this is a good thing. Like if someone's telling me they have an idol and we'll use it for our alliance, like this is good. You can use it for our alliance. So like, I don't know. That's the way I saw it this time
Why
around.
didn't you feel like that the first time, asshole?
I don't know, because I was dumb. I was just dumb. Plus, you had 2 idols. So
yeah,
it was
2 is
it was like very late in the
one.
game.
Yeah.
So like, I was a little bit different, but
yeah.
yeah,
I got you.
I
yeah, like imagine if AJ still had like the idol now, like I feel like you would start to be like feeling a little weird, wouldn't you?
Yeah, especially if I wasn't sure if I could trust him or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like also like the thing with you is like you had 2 idols, and then also like you just been like voted like most likely to win the game and stuff. So it was very clear like you were kind of seen as the top threat.
Yeah.
And those people that were voting that didn't even know you had 2 idols. So on top of that, you had 2 idols. So that was like, oh, like now I'm really nervous that like you're just gonna get to the end and I can't beat you. But you know, it's a thing. Is like it's hindsight is 2020. You know, like there could have been a scenario where I don't know, this is all season 2 talk.
I know. Sorry.
We've gone through this so many times.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But
I was trying to relate it to now to Emily B's side.
The way I saw it now is like, I feel like basically I definitely did regret how I played in season 2 because I felt like my disloyalty ended up costing me the game. Because at the end of the day, like nobody really had my back to the extent that they would like go to bat for me, and that's like kind of why like I feel like that's a thing. Like it's got voted off because like no one was gonna say like no way Sam can get voted off. Like to me, I felt like loyalty was important, and I should be more loyal my second time around. So I viewed Adam's title differently this time.
And now you have Leia, who would definitely go to bat for you, and you just betrayed her. I think voted against her.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Yeah,
but not really, but kind of like your whole. I mean, we can get to that later. I don't know if we want to jump to that. Sorry, I'm jumping.
We can talk about it now. We're kind of going out of order, but I feel like it's fine. We'll just hit all the thoughts from the episodes. So like for that one, I think some of it's going to be revealed more in episode 12 because I've seen questions on like, oh, why did Leia not expose the plan? You know, why is Sam doing this? It seems like he's going to blow things up. You know, and like, why did Sam blindside Leia, or did he blindside Leia? Those are all questions that will be answered very soon. But as far as my thought process going in there, it was, first of all, like I didn't want to just blindly believe everything Cooper said to me without like figuring out whether it was true, because I did view Leia as my number 1 ally. And it's like, if someone just tells me you like, oh, by the way, your number 1 ally is like against you and has been lying to you the entire game, they're going to vote you out. Like, you know, should you really just like go and blindside your number 1 ally without like even like fact checking with them? I figured that I probably should fact check, especially because Cooper had been like working overtime to save Andrew like for weeks in a row. And it felt like he was doing the same thing this time. And at the same time, like, you know, it's like Leia's my closest ally. I can't blindside her. Like the way that she like came to me before the Lucy tribal at the combined tribal and like told me the plan. Like I felt like I owed it the same thing to her to like tell her what was going on. And you know, whether that could have blown up and whether that was a good idea, you know, time will tell, because there's still all that fallout, which we'll see next time. But that was my thought process, at least going in, is like, you know, I would basically fell at the crossroads between Cooper and Leia, and like, you know, what do I do? You know, do I fully trust Cooper without checking it? You know, do I go to Leia? Can this blow up on me? You know, so it was a difficult position to be in for sure.
No, that definitely makes sense. And yeah, I feel like I want to return to this more, I guess, maybe next week then.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of details might be revealed more about that, but definitely I feel like it is a big part of this episode.
Well, yeah. I mean, I ended the episode basically in this kind of swing vote position where I could either vote off Andrew or Emily, who was, funny enough, are the 2 Savu people who may or may not have the Pringle idol, which I didn't know. Obviously, I had no idea. But
Who did you think had the idol at this point?
well,
Or did you think there was an idol still?
there was actually a decent amount of suspicion that Andrew had the idol just because of how cocky he was. Like everyone's like, why is Andrew so cocky? Like he must have
He
an
was-
idol. That's
he
kind of
is
like a
really
lot of
cocky.
yeah, that was a lot of the discourse around these weeks is like Andrew's so cocky, it doesn't make any sense. The only logical conclusion is he has the idol. And he's being protected, or like that he's being protected by Cooper, and that Cooper will tell him to play an idol if he's gonna get voted off. Like that was kind of at least what people started talking about around this time. Like, well, yeah, something actually I think that should definitely be discussed that like I think it was kind of very briefly talked about and kind of moved on is like Cooper very much like fully saved Andrew and got rid of Sarah at the prior tribal, because going into that tribal council, the way that the majority 7 was working was between the bottom people, we didn't necessarily have, at least like a lot of people, I know I didn't really have a huge preference on who went home, but we would kind of discuss as a group and like basically vote as a group on who the majority of votes were going to go on. We saw that happen in the Nick tribal council where like, we vote 4 people wanted Nick, 3 people wanted Sarah. All right, Nick's going to go home then. And basically that's what we did every week. And this specific week, by far, like the majority, I want to say 5 people, 5 out of the 7 wanted Andrew. And the only people that wanted Sarah out were Bailey and Cooper, which kind of gave away that like, oh, Bailey and Cooper are probably close with Andrew because like, why are they protecting him? But Cooper came to me and Leia right before tribal council. He's like, hey, like the 7's going to meet. I know that everyone wants Andrew out, but like, please just like do me a favor, like, and like vote for, and like vote to vote off Sarah instead of Andrew. He had this whole reasoning about like, oh, Megan and Sarah are super close, so therefore we need to like keep them in the game. We need to get rid of one of them or something. Like it was kind of like easy to see through that he's just protecting Andrew. But me and Leia went along with it because we felt like if we didn't, it would be like losing Cooper's trust and kind of very publicly going against Cooper. If he says to us, like, please do this, please vote this way, and you don't, you're kind of going against him. And I didn't want to like do that at that moment. So basically Cooper single-handedly, like that conversation specifically is like why the votes were on Sarah instead of Andrew. So like,
it reminds me a little of like Boston Rob and All Stars going to Lex being like, hey, can you save Amber? If you can.
If you can. It basically was that. Yeah.
So is Cooper and Crouch the new
Amber and
Boston Rob and Amber?
I don't know. They have a pretty good relationship.
Crouch is Amber.
You could say that Crouch is the boy next door.
Yeah, he's the boy next door. Cooper's like making dinner for him, like stirring up little things,
Yeah, all those cute scenes, making dinner together. Yeah,
his arm around him on the bench on the swing. I feel like you could definitely edit together a little fan cam of like Cooper and Crouch.
Oh, that's got to be done.
Yeah, I ship it.
Yeah, I ship. Well, see, that's why also I didn't trust what Cooper was saying or was a little skeptical, is because it felt like another attempt to just like save Andrew. Like Cooper had heard about this Girls Alliance the previous week, but he decides like, oh, now is the time I'm going to tell everybody about it. And it lines up with the moment that Andrew is definitely going to go home. And he'd already kind of like very publicly saved Andrew a few weeks in a row. I'd like seen them idol searching together a few times. Like Bailey had given an idol clue to Andrew, even though he was on the bottom. So it felt like all signs were pointing to like, all right, like Cooper and Andrew are tight. Like, what if Cooper is just like trying to save Andrew again? What if he's exaggerating or making up the Girls Alliance? And I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So like what?
He was exaggerating it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he was, but he wasn't, right?
I don't think that he thought he. Well, I think that everything he said was
exaggerating the deal that Leia made with him.
Definitely, yeah. He did exaggerate that.
Yeah. So, I guess, one more thing I wanted to ask about the Leia meeting. I don't know if more is going to be revealed again, but like, what specifically did Leia say to like confirm in you to still want to like flip, you know, because like you said, you wanted to go to Leia to confirm this, and you know,
Mhm.
like a lot of it was her saying like, oh no, I thought I told you, but like,
Yeah.
you know, she didn't. But like,
Yeah.
was it just like that sort of thing?
So I wanted to make sure that Cooper wasn't just completely making up the Girls Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just out of thin air made it up. And Leia like instantly confirmed, like, no, it's real. Like it was a
Yeah.
thing. I'm
I
like,
thought I
all
told
right,
you
well,
about it. What?
yeah. Which actually, I texted
Wait, was
Leia
that a
about
lie
this.
or did she actually?
No, it actually is the truth that she did
Oh.
think that she had told me, and it is likely that she did, and I just like, well, here's what I think happened, and I'm still like hazy on the details here. But what I think happened was that Leia like told me about like, oh yeah, like I maybe have this like Leia. I think she basically had implied that like Bailey, Bree, and Emily expected her to stick with them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like she had said like, no, I'm going to stick with you and Cooper, which is what she says in confessional. Like she fully believes that like her real alliance is to me and Cooper. She will choose us over this girls alliance. But like she definitely had downplayed it. And like what she had said to me, I think was much like, which I don't even remember her saying this, but I think it was much more like, oh yeah, like I met up with like whatever Bree and Bailey and Emily, and like, you know, they think that we're a thing. So she had downplayed it and said it so much so that like what Cooper was saying felt like a completely different thing than what Leia was saying.
Like downplayed it a little too much. Like, why does the lady doth protest so much?
It felt kind of like how in season 2 when we hadn't really told Maggie about the alliance with like Mike and Nick and Mallory or whatever. Or like maybe we had, but it was like downplayed a lot. And like Jack had gone to her himself and like said, by the way, there's a thing, don't worry, it's fake. And that in itself was enough to make Maggie like comfortable. And I think that Leia probably was trying to do that sort of thing with me and Cooper, like by telling us about it and being like, don't worry, it's not a thing. And in my mind, it was like, I didn't really care because I'm like, okay, I still trust that Leia is loyal to me over these other people. So the fact that she had held back information about these other people and this like fake in this alliance that they had wasn't too big of a deal to me because I still knew that like in this moment, like, you know, I'm still your main loyalty. So like, I guess that's where I differed from Cooper in that he felt like, oh, Leia's hiding this. That means it must be real. And she must be like lying about, you know, her loyalty to this group. Or maybe Cooper felt like Leia just wasn't going to be able to protect him. And there'll be more to discuss in the future on like Cooper's reasoning and his thoughts on all of this. But I think that the interesting thing, and we'll talk about this a lot more next time, I think, but like how like a lot of these conversations between like me and Leia and me and Cooper, like I feel like the same things are being said, but they're being interpreted very differently. And it's very interesting how like Cooper and Leia have like very different takes on this girls alliance, even though Cooper says like, oh, Leia slipped up in conversation and told me about the girls alliance. And Leia's telling me like, I didn't slip up. Like this was like on purpose. I told him, but I don't think Cooper's lying. Cooper honestly thinks that Leia slipped up. So like they're both coming away with a completely different takeaway from like the same exact situation.
Yeah.
It's just like when you have these people who are just like you guys are all just like hyper analyzing like every single word. I feel like so much. Like
Cooper's like Tom slipped up and said she instead of Sam.
Therefore,
it must have been Emily. Like
it's just the fact that there's so many conversations and like lies that have been told that like I feel like you guys can't even keep track of like which ones what you've actually said.
It's a lot to
like what you said in confessionals versus what you said to the producers versus it's like it's just so much to keep straight.
And sometimes like you lose track too. Like you might think someone says something and like I remember in the conversation with Cooper, like I specifically said the line like Leia's trying to get between us. Like we need to do something about it. But then when I went to Leia, I said like Cooper told me that you're trying to get between us. And I think that I honestly like thought that Cooper had said that when actually like watching it back, I'm like, oh, I guess I was the one that said that. Like, and you just don't remember. And it's like there's little details like that like completely can change perception of like what's actually like what everyone's motivations are.
Right.
I want to mention first the big Yoshis. The big Yoshis in the background.
Yoshi.
Wait, I totally missed this. What scene was this?
It's in like so many. Honestly, it's in a lot of shots, but like it was specifically like the big wall of my apartment behind the couch.
Oh yeah, I
has,
know
like,
that. Yeah.
all the Yoshis, and it's just like they showed up a few times that episode
Oh.
because both my conversations with Cooper and Leia were in front of it. And
Is
I don't
it
know.
symbolic for something?
No, it's just me and
Just
Zane decided to
Yoshi.
put them up because we thought it was funny.
Why Yoshi specifically?
Because he's big. Just look at him. He's just
He's
kind of
big.
sitting there.
He's huge.
hmm
It was just like a meme at the time for like some YouTube videos we were watching, and we just thought it was funny. I don't know.
Yoshi is an icon.
Oh yeah, especially Big Yoshi.
Remember when we brought the big Yoshi to Rick's?
Yeah, that was so great. I still have those pictures. We can throw those up here.
Yeah.
Big Yoshi did make it to Rick's.
hmm
That was probably that year.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, probably that. Yeah, that spring.
Also, one more thing I want to mention was the Sarah tribal. Like all that, there's definitely some fighting about the friends and how much the friends are determining what's
Friendship.
happening.
Oh, that's just a big theme. I feel like in
Yeah.
the past couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we talked about it a little bit in one of the, like, obviously it's harder to betray somebody who you're friends with in real life. I feel like for some people though, it's funny to like screw over their friends.
I mean,
So
yeah,
it kinda
Cooper
depends
just
in that sense.
betrayed Leia.
But-
I mean, you kind of did. You did too. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I do agree that there were specific things that certain players not in the group did that like caused them to be more out of the group. I see both sides.
Yeah.
I do think it is hard to break into a friend
Mhm.
group, but like in a game aspect where everyone's just trying to win,
Yeah.
it's not as like, I don't know. It's not like real life where it's like hard to break into an existing friend group because it is a
Mhm.
game. But it still is, I don't know because I haven't experienced it, so I don't know how it would be.
I feel like more than just like friends, or I guess it is kind of friends, but it just like I feel like there is just like a disadvantage for the season 4 people plus Sarah for like not having time on production.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Production's huge. It's because you get to see everyone's videos and like how they think, and like you get who likes who and who doesn't like who, and what strategy people have. I feel like it's much tougher if you just like haven't seen that.
But at the same time, like, you know, Adam's doing pretty well for season 4. He's integrated himself into a friendship ish. You know, he's not on the list, but
Yeah, I feel like you just have to work a little harder sometimes. But I don't know, because sometimes if you know your friends really well, I'd be like, yeah, they're my good friend, but I also know they're sneaky. I know I probably don't want to go to the end with them. They have a big reputation. And I might want to work with someone I don't know as well who, you know.
Sarah, what are you saying for All Stars 3? I don't like this. I don't like the sound of this.
I'm just thinking from my point of view, I honestly don't think. I don't know. I feel like it would be harder to betray certain people who I know care about the game a lot. But besides that, I would have no qualms. I don't know. Like, I don't think I would just not talk to someone because I don't know them as well. I would definitely still like factor them into everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing where like I feel like it's not as much black and white where you can say that like one side is completely right or the other is like as much as like the edit presents like two different views. Like I'm actually kind of bummed that like one of like I had like a meeting with Adam in a confessional where I talked like a lot about this, and because it kind of like in the episode looks like I'm completely saying like, oh, like Sarah's wrong, Megan's wrong, I disagree. When like in confessional I was actually saying like, no, like I admit that we have this advantage, and I compared it to like the idea of privilege and like coming in with like starting out at like a different like with like inherent advantages that other people don't have. If you're more involved with like the friend group, more involved with the club, like you will just have an inherent advantage. That doesn't guarantee success for you. That also doesn't guarantee that if you don't have that privilege that you're just not going to do well, but it makes it like a tougher road. At the same time, I just feel like it's unfair to say like, oh, because these people made it like this far because they're the majority. That means they're only there because of their privilege. And I'm like, I mean, like I remember at the time like feeling like I didn't agree with what Sarah was saying because like I was like, well, I like have tried to get Cooper out like a couple of tribal councils ago. Cooper is my good friend, and people try to vote me out every single tribal council. And my closest ally is Adam, who I didn't even know before the game. So like I didn't agree with their specific things about like the only reason people are in power because they're friends. I'm like, I'm looking for an opportunity to get rid of these people, but at the same time, like, yeah, the connections are an inherent advantage. Being on production is an inherent advantage. Like that's definitely true. You have inherent trust with people that you know better. You're more likely to believe them or give them the benefit of the doubt. So like, you know, it's a really complicated topic.
Yeah. I see both sides. And I just don't know how I'd react to it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. You're such a woke Ted Cruz fanboy talking about privilege, Sam.
Yeah. Obviously, I say this as the biggest MAGA supporter in all of Survivor Michigan. Yeah. Not a MAGA supporter, just so you know. We got some eulogies to do. We can start with episode 10. The one and only Sarah Gallagher, first boot to winner in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely. I feel like she was like the biggest like question mark heading into the season, you know, because we hadn't seen her since literally episode 1 of season 1, and you know, and she wasn't on production or anything. So like literally, like not just like we hadn't seen her as the audience. I'm talking about like we hadn't seen her. Like most of the people in the cast hadn't seen her, like really since. And then yeah, I mean, she was definitely first boot to like a fan favorite and great confessionalist, great like whiteboard stuff. Loved every mention of the like days since Cooper screwed you.
That was great.
And I mean, yeah, and like we were just talking about it for a bit, but there's like she was definitely coming in with you know, less of an advantage, you know, not knowing a lot of people, not having played in so long, not being on production, yada yada yada, and like worked her way into like you know a pretty good position. Like ended up not being in the majority alliance at the end of the game, but like got pretty dang far. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she's somebody who's a really big fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad she got to play again and make it further than first boot. I know she played some orgs where she like made it to the end. Did she win one of them? She got close to winning at least a couple times.
I think she lost to Paddock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for Survivor Buffalo.
Whoa.
I think. Oh yeah, I thought she lost to get it, but yeah, gave us a lot of memes.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't enjoy when people were crying or got too emotional.
Honestly, it's still one of my favorite moments of the entire season is her face after like the Aaron boot.
Yeah, when Adam was crying and she's like, yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways, like Sarah felt like an audience surrogate as someone who's like coming into this group of people who are all so like close friends and like crazy about the game, and she's like, I don't understand, like why are they so crazy, like what is going on with these. So she's just like the normal person reacting to all this insanity around her, which is, and also like she just has really hilarious takes about all of it. And like Brian, like an icon, great Survivor Michigan NPC. I feel like Sarah, it was such a great story seeing her go from first boot to like coming back and like getting a chance to actually play, because she didn't really get that chance the first time. And I feel like she definitely proved herself as a really good player. I mean, you can critique some of the moves whenever here or there, the Jesse vote, maybe you know, her whole thing with Bailey, but you know, she just found herself on the bottom at the merge, and I think that her being a threat also is one of the reasons that she went home, I think. So I'm glad that we got to have way more of her this time.
Yeah. 10 times more.
10 times more. More like 15 times because of the episode length.
True.
Where do we want to rank Sarah in the 10th placers?
Yes.
Jack, you're in
wanna...
here.
What? Oh, I'm in here. I am. Yeah, it goes. Do you want me to read it off? I feel like I'm always one that reads it off.
Yeah.
It goes Jack, then Paddock, then Bree, then Cheaty. Wait,
solid.
How is it Bree and Cheaty?
Wait.
What?
I'm just
season 1. Wait,
season 1.
Yeah, season 1. Oh, that's Kara. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was
Cheaty.
like, what?
Cheaty.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's Kara.
Kara.
Yeah.
Definitely put her ahead of Kara.
Yes.
I think I put her ahead of Bree.
Yeah.
What about Paddock 1.0?
Season 3 Paddock.
The Survivor Buffalo Girls.
Yeah.
Paddock had decent control on Tormenta.
Yeah.
I never really considered Sarah to be in much of a power position in All Stars.
She was kind of a swing vote at the Aaron Tribal, I guess. And like she did make a big move at the combined tribal. But yeah, like Paddock, like I feel like Paddock got very like twist screwed because of the demerge.
Mm-hmm.
And also though Paddock did have the whole like Aaron thing, which like was a bad look and also kind of contributed to her being voted off.
I feel like Paddock maybe had like higher highs and lower lows. Gallagher had some pretty good high highs too. Like I feel like there's a lot. I don't know, and I feel like I also do want to just like when ranking Sarah Gallagher, I do want to like add in maybe like the degree of difficulty for her of you know everything we've just been talking about for the last 15 minutes. But like I feel like that does make it more impressive for her to last this long, you know, All-Star season with a lot of people playing really hard. And like I feel like she didn't like start off the game in a like great spot or like end the game in a great spot. I feel like she had like a really good middle of her game, you know, like I feel like she made some really good moves like right around the middle almost. I thought she was bad in the beginning, but like I feel like she just kind of slowly, you know, by being on the wrong outside of like the 7 and stuff, kind of had to fall apart a little bit. But I feel like she was set up in a decent spot coming into the merge.
Yeah, she definitely was. I definitely think that the Jessie vote was like in an ideal world that would have like worked out really well because she would have been putting Odawa plus Megan and Jackson as the majority. Like that's actually like a pretty amazing move that she made. It ended up backfiring on her, but that isn't like to say it was a bad move. Like it's more in hindsight a bad move.
Yeah.
My one thing I will say is I feel like it would have been a better move to get rid of Leia because at that point it's like either you stick with your alliance and keep loyalty with them, or like you want to change the entire dynamics of the game, like get rid of Leia, who's kind of like the center. But like getting rid of Jessie, it didn't really change the dynamics, and it just kind of pissed off like Bailey, and like made her feel like she can't trust Sarah anymore. I don't know. So I think maybe I don't know if Sarah could have maybe even if Sarah wanted to get rid of Leia though. I don't know if like Nick would have agreed to that or like Andrew. So like it wasn't like she had that many options, you know.
It's hard because I just don't remember all the details of Paddock's game.
Yeah, it's hard to be so long since we've watched these originally.
I know. I do think if Paddock was, she happened to be swapped, like demerged, kind of swapped into a tribe that had 3 Savu Savus, and then Will, like, and no one else, like 5 people in the same alliance in the same tribe, which is like a horrifically bad thing, which is almost like entirely. I do want to say that if that hadn't happened, she would have been pretty much fine and in a really good position. And it feels like her fate was decided much like by chance to some extent versus with Sarah. It does feel more due to like the decisions that she had made that put her in the position she was in. Like it wasn't like, oh, Bailey flipped because she wants to work with her close friends. There's Bailey flipped because she didn't trust Nick and Sarah anymore. So like, I do feel like Paddock was like lost more due to chance. like if you run the whatever simulation
Love the
more
simulation.
times, I feel like it's more likely that Paddock is not always put into like that bad of a demerge tribe.
Yeah.
That's true. And also, I don't know why Sarah kept trusting Cooper. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was
that's
weird
true.
to me.
Cooper did screw her over one last time when he decided
Mhm.
to try to get the votes onto her instead of Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I might be fine with putting Paddock above her. Paddock 1.0.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because this is more about like gameplay, less about
Yeah.
like character stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, this is just a really good group at this point because it's like it feels like Sarah should be really high, but also like Paddock played a really good game in season 3.
I don't know if I should be ahead of Paddock. I don't know. Why am I number 1? I didn't play that well in season 4.
Maybe when the whole season's done, we can go back and like do any
just have
reform.
Jack.
Yeah. Do any reforms we want to do.
We're not biased at all.
No,
I remember like I think you weren't allowed to discuss it. It was me and Sam discussing it.
Yeah. I don't know why we did that, honestly. I don't know.
I think because we definitely had our reasons at the time. I'll have to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember talking about just having people like being able to win over like Camila and Megan so much and have them, you know, and like you can talk about if El Norte was screwed by production stuff. I don't know, or like
it's true. I think we probably talked about like the stuff about Aaron just being like really bad. Because also like Aaron was really loyal to Paddock.
That's definitely what it was.
Yeah.
Like Paddock had no reason to be so against Aaron when Aaron was nothing but loyal to her. Like she could have kept her as a loyal vote, and like I feel like that if that Ben bomb hadn't happened, like Paddock's game is probably much different in the post merge. So I do think that's like a pretty crucial mistake. But you know, Sarah's not without mistakes as what either. So it's tough to say. I don't know. And also season 4 Jack's not without mistakes when you think about like whether the Ben move was the correct move, and I don't know. But yeah. We can revisit these other rankings later. Should we go over to Emily? Or we could put
Emily B.
Emily Beast.
Emily Beast.
Wait, this is interesting.
Oh,
because she got 9th last time too.
Oh, you're right.
So she's in here from her previous season. It goes. Wait, who's Katie? Oh, it goes Katie Ho. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Abby from season 2, then Emily B from season 3, and then Angela from season 1.
All girlies.
Yeah. And now Emily B emerges again.
Yeah, Emily Beast.
I can't believe she got the same place. Interesting.
Yeah.
So did she play better this time around? I guess want to start there.
Yeah.
It's a good place I feel like she was more memorable this time around.
Yeah.
She didn't find anything resembling an idol. Well, I guess she had the Lorax thing, but her idol.
Anything resembling an idol, I think is fair to say.
I mean,
I feel like she was prepared to make more moves this game. I don't remember her preparing for that last time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Also, like, I feel like in season 3, she was much more like part of a conglomerate of Sabu to some extent, and just kind of like one of their votes. Versus this time, like, it felt like she had a lot more autonomy and like was making her own decisions. Like,
right.
You know, like I want to talk about the merge vote. Like, as much as people say like, oh, like yeah, Bailey had a big influence, Adam had a big influence. Like, if Emily didn't want to flip, then that vote wouldn't have happened because it basically like it needed. You know, Cooper kind of didn't want to, and Bailey did, and I feel like Emily was a big part of that because she wanted to work with Leia and Bree from her original tribe. Like, you know, Emily did make some moves this time. I feel like she was always positioned pretty well. Like, she didn't really have any enemies. Like, I don't know. I feel like she played a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Like, as much as like Kevin was like, oh, like Emily doesn't do anything. Like, she didn't really have to up until, you know, maybe she did wait too long. But
can you refresh my memory on why exactly she was the one that was chosen for you guys to flip on this episode?
Basically, it's because Andrew would not vote for Bailey. That's literally what it was. Megan and myself and Adam all preferred Bailey to go, but Andrew said like he just straight up wouldn't do it, and Cooper didn't.
Seems weird that Cooper doesn't want to vote for Andrew, and Andrew doesn't want to vote for Bailey, and Bailey's giving stuff to Andrew.
I know. It's all suspicious, isn't it? Very suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, another side note we didn't really talk about, but Bailey and Andrew have a duo. Bailey was calling kind of like comparing them to Dale and Shannon.
Yeah,
like it seems like they kind of have a pretty good thing going on. And it doesn't seem like Andrew's willing to vote her out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I guess like Emily probably could have I don't know if Emily really has that relationship.
Yeah,
like her closest one is with Bailey, and she wants to get Bailey out.
Yeah, I feel like Emily is really good at like getting into good groups of people and like making moves within that group. I feel like her one flaw in Survivor is like being somebody's number one,
Yeah.
Is like, having that like ride or die who's also like a really good player that's fighting for you,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if there's a ton of people in this season who like, I don't know.
You know how like certain people you associate with others?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have the person
right
who I associate with her in a Survivor game.
Also, side note, her telling Adam, "Oh, there's a plan to save you. I won't tell you what the plan is, but just so you know."
Oh yeah, I think so.
Not good.
She was at the point where I think she was just sick of like people thinking she wasn't doing anything, so she was just trying to like drop hints that like she has plans, she has like things in her back pocket. Like you reach a point where you just like, oh, it's like you just want someone to know.
It reminded me of you telling Nick in season 2, like, oh, like you're probably gonna go home this week, but don't worry, like next week something big is gonna happen. Nick's like, that. How does this help me?
Exactly, because I was so annoyed. I was like, yeah, it's definitely an ego thing of just like wanting people to know that you like know things.
I do think that if she had been more upfront with Adam, said, "Oh, here's my plan. I have an idol. I want to save you. I want to get Bailey out." Like I feel like that could have maybe made a bigger difference, but like she didn't have that trust with Adam. Maybe that's on Adam. I don't know, but like I feel like that Adam had a confessional like, gotta be quicker than that.
But I all that to say, I do think at least I can't really remember much about her season 3 game. Like she is making more memorable things. I mean, like, I guess we're not talking about character as much in these rankings, but like I feel like she is making moves,
Oh,
and,
definitely.
like she might have some more negatives as well, and like these like that and stuff. But I feel like I can definitely safely put her above her season 3 game.
Oh, for sure.
I definitely agree. Yeah. What about versus she who shall not be named? Abby.
The leaker herself.
Yeah. Her fellow Sopranos team member. You know that Abby, Emily B, and Camila all in the same Sopranos group or acapella group.
That should have been Final 3 of the All-Stars.
Facts. True. Yeah, we were robbed of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because Abby was also not necessarily ever in a position of power on season 2.
Yeah.
I feel like Emily in All Stars had more plans and pull.
Yeah. I agree. Well, her whole thing with like Cooper and Bailey was like a pretty powerful alliance. At the merge, she was basically the most powerful position with the two of them. And she had like, potential idol and like 10 million advantages. You can't forget about the advantages she won. That's something.
Even though she couldn't figure out the idol clue.
Yeah.
Like that first one, remember?
That's true. Yeah. Got it all scratched off.
Yeah.
I think that Emily, like, well, that's the thing is like, I feel like she was just like much more, she had the girls alliance too, but she was also like willing to turn on it. Like, I feel like she has much more options and like places she could go than Abby. Like Abby's issue was she didn't really realize she was on the bottom until it was too late. Whereas like Emily, I feel like she had a good idea of like how other people perceived her, and like she had plans to like make moves. She just waited too long to do them.
Definitely. Yeah.
No, that's actually huge. The fact that she knew how she was perceived, like that's a really big part of the game.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think her perception of herself was more accurate than Abby's perception of herself.
Yeah. All right, let's put her above Abby.
So Katie Ho.
Why did we have her for? I don't remember much of her in season 4.
She was good. She was like, I feel like one of the better ones from like El Norte, like integrating in
Yeah.
like the merge. I feel like
Mhm.
you know
She made a pretty good move in like the Eliza vote, like
Mhm.
getting in with Jackson and Dale and like
yeah,
leaving her tribe in the dust. Kind of survive the Camila and Eliza tribals.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like she objectively, I guess, like, I mean, her surviving the Lisa tribal is like a big, like, kind of, I guess, move that, like, you
Mhm.
didn't necessarily see Emily, like, survive a position like that. But
yeah, but she didn't really have to.
yeah, she didn't
Until
really
now.
have to. I mean, Katie kind of got screwed by the
Yeah.
swap, is the thing.
Mhm.
And whereas Emily, like, got drafted. Like, she drafted. Remember, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Emily beat
Emily was the drafter.
Yeah, she was
Beast.
the drafter.
But you know, luck does play a little bit into
Mhm.
Survivor for sure.
Hmm.
How lucky somebody is factors
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just feel like Emily Beast. Like the more I'm thinking about it, like it was a somewhat not like the loudest, craziest game. Sorry, I was just getting echo for a second there.
Where was that coming from?
Is that from Sarah? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's just she was not playing like the loudest, craziest game. I know like some people like online were like, I don't know, but just I feel like the more I'm thinking about it, like she really did have like a solid game. Especially I feel like a lot of these other ninth placers, it seems to be a lot of just a time where like someone is just like jettisoned off that isn't doing much. Like she was doing stuff. She was like part of like the majority more than Katie really ever was. Or
That's
Abby
true.
ever was. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in saying Beast number 1, Beast 2.0.
I think you're right. I was leaning Katie at first, but like honestly, yeah, like you made a good point. Like Katie was never necessarily in a majority.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Emily like was in a really powerful position at the
Yeah.
merge and like on Sangria.
Like Katie did a great job of surviving like after the Ben vote for a while and all that, but like she never really got back into majority position,
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and also like I feel like maybe she thought that she ended up being like was in a better position than she was like by the end. Like I think she thought she was doing a better job of like getting in with Tokidokiers than she really ended up being, So
I think that's fair. I think that Emily's perception was better. She just didn't see the blind side coming.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like this blind side was because of a girls' alliance.
Mhm.
Like, oh, we can't let these 4 girls get to the end because they're gonna stick together. And in her mind, she's like, I want to turn on Bailey. She wasn't even loyal to the alliance. She was blindsided for being loyal to. So like,
Cool. All right. Beast number 1.
East. Cool. I realized we jumped right into the rankings, but we didn't really eulogize. Like, we wanted to say some final words for Emily.
But yeah, I mean, Emily B, I feel like she's a lot smarter than she lets on.
Mm-hmm.
And that affects her perception a little bit, but at the end of the day, she is very aware of like what goes on and how she's perceived, which is a huge part of the Survivor's game. She went out, she looked for idols, she found something, another huge part of the game. Did she win any challenges?
She won the advantage from the challenge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she won multiple advantages.
Won a lot of challenges on Sangria.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like coming into this season, she was definitely somebody with a chip on her shoulder. Like again, going back to like knowing perception of her, she knew that she was kind of like a bubble player for All Stars, and I feel like she put in a lot of effort into her audition and stuff. And I feel like she talked a lot about like wanting to like really play hard, and like did she play hard in the same way that like a Cooper or a Sam where plays hard? No, but like she played hard into getting to a really good position and working to find these advantages and stuff. So like I feel like like I don't think the season's the same without the beast mode.
Oh, you need the beast mode.
Yeah,
I think that Emily doesn't get enough credit for being in a good position, and like as much as people are very big move bias, like Kevin was kind of an example of that. Like Emily put herself into a good position and she had a plan and just didn't it just didn't happen in time. So like, I think she has a very valid, viable strategy. She like also like season 4.5 got all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Like part of her strategy in All Stars was also like using like her threat level in 4.5, like trying to make it low on purpose. Like I feel like she thought a lot about it, cared a lot about it. Potentially has an idol. She was doing a lot of things like, and like, yeah, ultimately she just didn't make the move in time.
Yeah, so to wrap everything up, we actually got a Dogs Gotta Speak question for Sam Morris here from Moose Caboose in the Discord. So Moose Caboose wrote that I've noticed that Sam seems to go for a lot of coffee meetups with other players, like Espresso Boys, with Megan, etc. How much does he think that he spent going? How much do you think? How much does Sam think that he spent on going for coffee over the course of the season? Bit of a curveball question, but I can only imagine how much of a caffeine addict he became as a result. Haha.
I mean, definitely a caffeine addict. Fun fact about Espresso Royale is that I only just realized like the other day that it's espresso with an S and not espresso with an X. Definitely a full life crisis. I've been pronouncing it wrong all these years. I like had like a crisis realizing like, wait, is it really spelled that way all this time?
There's no X.
There's no X. Wow. Like I'm really missing that X. No. But
I feel like you can tell almost in some of your confessionals, like you're just like tweaking on that caffeine. Like,
definitely.
Your eyes are coming out of your head. You're like,
the caffeine is the only reson I did everything. I acted the way that I did during all those episodes. Money spent. I mean, honestly, like I probably did go to Espresso Royale at least like once or twice a week. So the spend is around $5 to $10 a week. Every time I last another week, it's probably another $5 to $10. So, where are we at now? Week 12? Probably at least like maybe 60 to $120. So,
damn,
money I did not have.
Mm-hmm.
So very sad. Hopefully,
I could have bought you an egg in the final challenge of season 4.
That's true. I could have bought multiple eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much was the
going rate? I had walked through the Diag when Matthew Israel was offering this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Would have paid for so much of my meetups.
Was it $50 an egg?
I think it was $50. Cool. Act 3 coming up very soon. One more week. 4 episodes left.
And I know people started to maybe doubt our predictions or like, say like, oh, you won't believe what's happening next. But like, I feel like this last few episodes have been slower for a reason. It's a lot of setup and there's going to be a lot of payoff happening soon. I feel like, so, if you're watching this far to keep your torch light, you're going to keep watching the rest of the season. But, I feel like you're in for a treat.
Definitely.
Unless you're Mallory, then maybe you're not watching the season, but you're just listening.
But you're listening to the podcast, and we'll have a lot of interesting things to talk about.
Definitely.
Because Act 3 really is, like, in my opinion, like the best of the 3 acts. Like, it really is the culmination of the season. So, really excited to watch them and talk about them.
Me too. All right. Well, we still got an interview coming out with the Beast, so stay tuned for that. But
stay tuned.
Yeah. Until next time.
Send us your questions if you have any more questions for the Beast.
Yeah, you send them on Discord or DM us on Twitter, or you know where to find us.
100%. All right. Talk to you later, my dude.
See ya.